Hey y'all. Finally. This is my third attempt to get this right.
Actually, fourth.
Okay, yeah, fourth attempt to get this right. So, I said that I would show you how to take your own measurements by yourself. So there's no need to stress over it because I have stressed over it enough and I have figured out how to master it, and it should only take just a few minutes. So I use this app on my phone that someone else in the group told me about, which is Camera360, and I have it on a 5-second delay. I figured out how to position it perfectly. To take the upper parts of my body, I position it on a speaker on the side of my bed. Use my tape measure. I get it ready. Make sure I have it positioned how I need for it to be. Hope you can see. Excuse the little belly fat. I am currently under construction, so I'm working on it. This is, if you can see, it's 30. So I stand in front of my phone that I have positioned up here. Then I have on the 5-second delay in the 360 camera app. Make sure I stand in front of it. Hopefully you can see me. And I press and hold my position. Check to make sure that I can see the end of the tape and that the tape is hanging. And on my picture you can see the number. It has 30 and I save. And then I move on to the next one, which is the waist. Position it, which it should go around your belly button, around your waist, and start and stop at the belly button. Make sure I don't have it pulled too tight. It is at 31. And I stand in front of the camera. 5-second delay. Make sure while I'm in front of the camera that I can see the numbers. It's not pulled too tightly. Check it. And it's good. Way too easy, right? So, same thing for the waist. But for my waist, what I do is I have to reposition so I can move it as I need to. I mean, not my waist, but my hips. Some people like to use the digital tape measures and also have another tape measure, but actually I just prefer to use the traditional tape measure. Position it around the big part of your bum bum. Halfway. And I have been holding steady at 44 inches. Hopefully you can see it. And stand in front of my camera with the 5-second delay. Hold it, but I stand back far enough to where whoever is looking at my pictures and doing the assessment when we turn in our Saturday measurements, they can see which body part it is, and they can also see that the tape measure is hanging down and that it's the end. Checking it, you can see that it's 44 and I'm saving. Alright, so we're moving on to the thighs. Remember, I'm doing this by myself, so I gotta adjust accordingly. Oh, I forgot to tell you all. What I do is I write down somewhere what my measurements are. I go ahead and do it ahead of time so that as I'm taking the measurements, I can write them down. Because when you get ready to enter them into the Woofu document, it can get kind of confusing. So it just helps for me to use this app because the pictures are saved in the same area, so you don't have to go through your phone looking for them. And also, it helps to write them down. So when you're uploading your pictures into Woofu, you don't have to figure out which picture says what, and if it was your left arm or your right arm, you know what picture is what, but you also know ahead of time what your inches are. So my hip was 44. That probably ain't going nowhere. Going on to your arm. Remember, we're doing this by ourselves. So you figure out how to maneuver the tape measure. If you're using a traditional tape measure, how to maneuver it where it positions perfectly around your arm. Make sure you're not pulling it too tight, but also make sure that you're pulling it just enough. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's at 11. Let me wake up my camera and make sure that I get close enough. You can see how I have it positioned here. I'm going to press it and position. And I can see it pretty good. I'm going to save it. That was my right arm. Right arm is 11 inches. Let me go ahead and do my left arm. Since we're doing measurements tonight, I'll just go ahead and finish mine. This arm is 11. So left arm and right arm is 11. Okay, we're going on to the thigh. With each thigh, sometimes I usually have to adjust where I have my phone. Usually I have it up there, and when I get ready to measure my thigh, I have to put the phone down lower, but it's already lower. Make sure I turn it around so I can see it pretty good. And my thigh is at 25, and I don't know if you can see it or not because the bed is kind of in the way, but it's halfway my knee and hip, and it's at 25 inches. And make sure that I maneuver correctly so that I can see myself. And it's good. I can see it. So my right thigh, 25. My left thigh, left thigh is 25 also. I don't know if I did that one good enough. Yep, you can see it. Sometimes you might have to do a couple of takes just so you can see it better. You don't want to have to resubmit. And if you do, you at least want to have an extra in your phone. The last thing I do is I'm going to move this down slowly so that you can see the last thing that I do, which I don't know if other people do, but I like to maximize on all of my inches, and I measure my left and right calf. It's not one of the measurements that are asked for with Fit Fine and Fabulous in the challenges, but it is one of the measurements that I do on my own. So when I record how many inches that I lost, I do include those in the number of inches that I've lost. So, I don't know if you can see. Okay. Have my phone positioned on the floor. Still on the 5-second delay. Make sure that I can see my calf. It's on 13. Let me check to make sure I can see. And yep, it's good. Now I'll record my measurements for 13. And that is the end of how you do your own measurements when you're trying to figure out how to get things done on your own. So, good luck.